97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Is your concrete sinking? Whether it's your driveway, sidewalk, or patio, those uneven surfaces are not just ugly, they're dangerous. That's where AFS comes in, a groundworks company. They use state-of-the-art concrete lifting solutions to prevent tripping hazards, and they're the best at what they do. Schedule your free inspection at afsrepair.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Our customers trust us not only to find the right hardware, but to advise them on the technology that makes them more efficient.
My Next Level team researches and discovers real solutions. Check-in software, HR, digital signature, and workflow software. It saves you money immediately. We hold your hand and stay with you through the transition.
We're taking our customers to the next level in business process automation.
Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Forgiveness. Wow, what a word. What a gift. All of us have done things in our lives that we regret. All of us have done things that are disobedient. All of us have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Thank God for his forgiveness. Thank God that he separates our sins as far as the east is from the west and remembers them no more. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of Cross Point Church, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison. Check us out at cpcfamily.org.
Thank you. Thank you for making us your number one choice for sports talk in North Alabama.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
97.7 ESPN The Zone. WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone. This hour is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore. Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll. And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
And a very pleasant good Thursday evening to you. I tell you, we moved into a new palatial studio. Wes isn't there, and I'm not there. I am in Cleveland, Mississippi, inside Walter Sillers Coliseum, and I'll tell you this. I'm sure you can hear the world's most annoying band right behind me. By the way, that is the moniker that they have here for Delta State, the Fighting Okra, as the Chargers getting ready to take on Delta State later on tonight. And again, that you'll be able to hear right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. But the student section's already half filled. And the women will start here in about 30 minutes time. Wes Neighbors is on location as well. How are you, Wes Neighbors?
Doing good, Steve. Doing real good.
Well, it's a pretty day. So it's that part's nice, but I hear some it is February, so I hear some wet weather coming our way for North Alabama next week. So just get ready. Just get ready for that.
It rained 75% in the month of February in Huntsville, Alabama. No doubt.
Always.
If not more.
So I'm sure by now you've probably read about Jalen Milroe going through Radio Row yesterday down at the Super Bowl and was asked about changing positions, and his comment was, you can't make a zebra a dog. So a lot of people are running with that right there. You know what? But you can't make a zebra a dog. But we'll find out what kind of pro. Because honestly, our big debate, especially late last decade, was Tua, Jalen, Mack, which one? And Jalen's getting ready to start in his second Super Bowl. He is going to be the 8th quarterback in Super Bowl history to start 2 Super Bowls in his first 5 years. I mean, and how many people had Jalen?
Philadelphia's done a great job.
Yeah.
I mean, putting great players around him. He does a good job of not losing the game. I mean, he limits his turnovers. He makes plays. He takes risks when he has to. There's just, there's a lot to that game. And, they protect him very well. They fight for him because they know that, his offensive line fights for him. His defensive fights for him because they know that he's a winner. And the guy's a winner.
He really is. In fact, where did I put it? This is what Jalen had to say earlier in the week on Media Day on what he does to that negative energy.
You have talked about having those scars and wearing those scars of doubters in college and the pros. Do you secretly like that extra motivation when people are doubting you for extra fuel?
There's no secret.
So what does it do for you to take you to that next level?
It's just who I am, and my mentality and my approach is always to find ways to better myself, and it's always looking internal first, and then looking at my teammates and how I can better the guys around me as well. So I've always been focused on what I'm asked to do and can I do it at a high level, and then also processing the way that I'm being taught to see the game and then how I already see the game. And then obviously you have that burning desire to win. So all of those things are a priority to me.
I don't know about you, Wes, but when I hear stuff like that, it is really hard to dislike Jalen Hurts.
I don't know how anybody could, to be honest with you. The guy's just a winner. I mean, so what I watched Jalen Hurts get targeted. His second game he ever played in against Ole Miss, hit harder than anybody's been ever hit, or as hard at quarterback. First thing to hit was the back of the head. They pick up the ball, run a touchdown. They're up 14-0. I think they went up 21-0. And watch him scratch and claw. The whole team got behind him, and they end up winning that game. And he was a true freshman, 18 years old, and just took a shot. And he got better. I mean, he got better after that. We talk about all the time. These quarterbacks, to me, I can tell the ones that can play after they take a lick and they get better. A lot of these quarterbacks get hit and melt. In fact, I'd say most quarterbacks do. I mean, a lot of these guys, if they're upright, they just do awesome. But once they start getting hit, all that goes out the window. And Jalen Hurts is one of those guys that the physicality doesn't affect him.
Yeah. There is a couple of stories I did want to get to just to get your take on. I know we usually covered this side of things down at the spring meetings, which we will be down there for coming up in late May, right after Memorial Day. But the SEC announced $808.4 million revenue distribution for the 23-24 fiscal year. That is $52.5 million per school for the Southeastern Conference. And that number is going to go up probably by about 20 million when the numbers come out for this fiscal year with the additions of Oklahoma and Texas. So that is a significant number in counting the money involved in the Southeastern Conference. Also, on the subject of money, Ohio State made their deal official with their national championship winning head coach in Ryan Day. The school said that the deal will be valued at $12.5 million annually. And
so he went from getting fired to getting paid $3 more million a year or $4 more million a year.
he is the second highest paid. That is correct, by the way. He is the second highest paid head coach right now, only behind Kirby Smart. Kirby last year made $13.2 million, which I thought he was hovering around 10. I didn't realize it was 13.2. Dabo, by the way, made 11.1. He's third on the list. So it's Ryan Day. He went from on the doorstep of getting canned to being the second highest paid coach. It does not give me the years, but with all this NIL stuff, I'm wondering at one point, we have got to hit a ceiling for this, don't you think?
Yeah. I don't know what to think anymore, Steve. You'd have told me. I mean, I'm serious.
That's a fair reaction.
I have no idea. I'm shocked that I'm shocked about where football is now. I'm like most people. I'd say most 95% of the people. I don't like it. I don't like where it is. I just think that in the long run, the majority of people are going to be hurt by NIL long term. That's my opinion. So
hard to think you're wrong.
It's hard to say that some of these guys will. I mean, they'll be beneficiaries from everything, but I think overall graduation rates, all the things that we find that are important for long term success, are going by the wayside. And so, I don't know where can it stop. I have no idea. I really, it's gone way past where I ever dreamed it would go.
Well put. And one other story that came across the Associated Press this afternoon, and I just started shaking my head at this. But I mean, I really don't know how the Rules Committee can tackle this, but they're at least addressing it. There is a proposed rule change intended to discourage players from faking injuries that prompt unwarranted timeouts that will be considered for the NCAA Football Rules Committee that meets this month later in February.
I agree with. I don't think they're going far enough to me, because what they're saying is what I read a little bit about the rule earlier today, and the rule is that if you get hurt during a series, you cannot come back during that series. So I think for safety, that if you get hurt or you're too hurt to go out of the game, that if you're laying on the ground and you stop the clock, right, that you ought to be able. I might put them in a penalty box, not in reality, but put their name on the scoreboard and give them 5 minutes to get them where they can rest or do whatever they need to do. If they're really hurt, then they need to lay out at least 5 minutes of game time.
Well, how about take it, because remember right out of the gate with targeting, it was always, hey, we're going to implement the penalty no matter what. The guy can come back in if we got it wrong, but we're going to implement the penalty. And they did just to make a point. And
that was
dumb.
I hated that.
Dumb, but I know you did, but at least it made it stick a little harder. And if you get injured, no. Well, what I'm saying, where I'm going to take it is, why not make it more severe right out of the gate? Meaning, if you're hurt, then you're hurt. Then you're done.
Yeah, I don't think
you don't need to come back in the game.
I don't agree with that. Because you do really. I mean,
I mean, if
having
you
to play the game at this level, Steve,
yeah,
having played the game at this level, you're going to get hurt during a game. I mean, you're going to twist your ankle, and when you first do it, you don't know if it's broken or not broken.
Yeah,
I mean, it hurts the same. To be honest with you, I've done both. You don't know the difference. You tear it, and then if you can come back in and play, you ought to come back in and play. But I'm not talking about people getting hurt, and then I'm talking about the people faking, and that's what they're trying to alleviate.
Yeah.
And so if you make it where it's a little bit more stringent, where they can't come in with at least 5 minutes of playing time, not 5 minutes like straight time, because hell, that's one commercial break now, or half of one now it seems. But if you go to where they put their name on the scoreboard and they can't come back in for 5 minutes, it kind of makes it a fan thing as well, makes it interesting, and I think we'll stop this or limit this a little bit, or make it where it's not.
How about 10 plays? How about just make it 10 snaps of, if you're a defensive player or an offensive player, 10 snaps, whatever 10 snaps equals.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's easier to keep up with the minutes to me. So because you can run 5 snaps in 1 minute.
There's so much analytics out there that I mean.
Yeah, that's just my opinion. I mean, I'm sure there are other opinions, and there are probably better ones out there. But I think there has to be if it's just one play, who cares? I just think it's the safety thing of it as well.
Exactly. Yeah. So, exactly.
I think you tie the two together, and there you go. But I don't think if you get hurt in a game that you shouldn't be able to come back in at all.
I do like the idea of making it more severe out of the gate, just so the players know, hey, if you do this, there are major consequences.
Well, let me give you a hint. The players are doing what they're told to do.
So the coaches will get that info too.
But I don't want to hurt the people that are actually hurt, and then say you can't come back in the game. That doesn't make any sense. And it's hard and the problem is now is delineating between the two is about impossible. And so that's why they're talking about doing something.
Coming up on the program today, the Chief, John Chavis, is going to join us in hour number 2. It'll be fun to talk with the former defensive coordinator at Alabama. Well, he was a defensive line coach at Alabama A&M, but the former DC at Tennessee, LSU, Texas A&M, Arkansas, and most recently with the Birmingham Stallions. But coming up on the other side of our first time out, Bobby Wallace, as the University of West Alabama made some news about a certain hire of their head football coach. And we'll talk to the athletic director there at West Alabama on the other side of our first break, and we're going to do that right now as Coach Bobby Wallace joins us next here on this Thursday edition of The Drive. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, inviting you to come test drive any one of our over 100 F-150s. From rock-solid, dependable work trucks to our state-of-the-art Platinum Series, we've got an F-150 for you. Test drive one today, and you'll understand why the F-150 is the best-selling truck in America, going on 48 years in a row. Just as successful offenses and defenses are built on teamwork, Woody Anderson Ford is powered by our people. Our sales and service teams are well-trained to save you time and money. And because we want your business again and again, no one will work harder to earn it. Our mobile service teams come to your home or business for oil changes, brake work, tire rotations, and more. And the great thing is you don't pay extra for it. We come to you with mobile service at no extra charge. Proud to be local, family-owned, and at your service for over 60 52 years. Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore.
It's an amazing time in our industry. Things are changing so rapidly. With digital signatures and workflow software, we help our customers work from anywhere. This helps you save time and money and upgrade your technology. Like I said, it's an amazing time to watch our customers grow and succeed.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey, Wes. Our company, Fleming Roofing and Restoration, specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it, or we can replace it.
Well, you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10 plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
Are you trying to find a new house? Are you trying to find the right loan? The right people to do your loan? Look no further than the Bank of Frank Ewing in Hazel Green. John Kendall, the Vice President of Mortgage with me. John, when they need a loan, and I say they, when people need a loan, it's about them.
That's right, Scott. Our whole motto is it's all about you. We're going to be okay. You're the one making the investment. We want to make sure that you're taken care of.
How do they find you?
Give us a call at 256-507-9180, or they can catch us online at bankoffrankewing.com.
It's Bank of Frank Ewing in Hazel Green, where they take the home loan to you and they make it all about you. Bank of Frank Ewing in Hazel Green is an FDI insured bank, as well as an equal housing lender.
NMLS number 446707.
This segment of The Drive is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, located online at WoodyAndersonFord.com with 2 locations, Hughes Road in Madison and Jordan Lane in Huntsville.
I'm alright. Nobody but about me. I ain't got to give me a fight. Can't you just let it be?
Back here on The Drive, West Neighbors, Steve Moulton back here with you. Always fun to talk to our next guest. His last stop was as athletic director at the University of West Alabama, as they've made some news. But we've got plenty to get into with Coach Bobby Wallace. And, Coach, I'm in Delta State getting ready for a little basketball action between UAH and Delta State. And I remember a comeback in Florence. This was early 2000s. Y'all were down by 21 and came back and won in the fourth quarter. I'll never forget that, Coach. How are you?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
Doing real well. It's the face of college athletics has changed quite a bit, and I just from a coach's and an administrative point of view, what do you think of all these changes, Coach?
Well, I haven't, coached since 2016, but kind of keeping up with as best I can. It looks like it's some real trying times as coach, with the transfer portal, NILs, different things happening that, it'd be looks like it's a harder job than it was at one time. I know that.
So, Coach, what kind of this West Neighbors? How are you doing, Coach? It's been a while since we talked, but I was what went into your decisions, I guess, to on your new hire?
Well, now, are you talking about West Alabama?
Oh, yes, sir.
Scott Cochran. Scott Cochran. What kind of fit do you think that's going to be?
Well, I don't know him, and since I hadn't, I live in Lake Martin now. I don't go to West Alabama very often. still got a lot of good friends there, and talk to some of them every once in a while. But and of course, Brett, was the coach, and he gave up being the coach to be the athletic director, and so I assume he hired him and interviewed him and did all those things with him. But he's got a lot of experience dealing with a lot of great athletes, and it's coaching and being a strength coach a little different, but I'm sure he's coached before. I really don't know his background that much.
Well, from that in particular of going as a head coach to athletic director, you know all about that, Coach. How different is that job compared to being a head football coach?
Oh, it's totally different. I enjoyed being a football coach a whole lot better than I did an athletic director. There's a lot of things as an athletic director, a lot of fires you got to put out, and problems, and then it's a lot of headaches being an athletic director. To be honest with you, sometimes it looks easy sometimes because they just kind of you stand around and watch a lot, but behind the scenes it's a lot of work, and you lose the rapport with the student athletes. That with the players, that you get to talk to a bunch of them a little bit, but that's about it. But you don't have the interaction with the student athletes as you do being a coach.
I never forget Jimmy Fuller when he went back as athletic director or working for the University of for Jack State.
Jack State.
Yeah, he said, Wes, I used to have to worry about if you were going to make your blocker now. Now I didn't know what to say when they came back and told me the volleyball, one of the volleyball students was pregnant. He says, you just deal with way too much as an athletic director.
Yeah. And of course, and I was also athletic director during, when COVID hit. So that was, that complicated things even more so. So it was kind of a rough time, but I got some things done as an athletic director. Raised a bunch of money and renovated the stadium, and so I'm kind of proud of some things that got done at West Alabama during that time.
Well, Coach, in particular, I see Pruitt Hall has grown up as well. I mean, the facility is still it is what it is, but it's dressed up quite nice even from the basketball side, I would say, Coach.
Oh, it is basketball, and then also the added a new track and a new soccer field. I know they put down a new baseball field. Facilities it's like you say, they're about as good as they can be for what we had, and but they're so much better than they were 10 years ago.
Well, just the growth of D2 sports as well, Coach, and to see it on every level. We certainly have seen quite a few players make it into the NFL, but I would just say the overall quality of the game on D2 has stepped up. Are you seeing what I'm seeing, Coach?
Well, absolutely. I think that a lot of people are shocked when, especially in the Gulf South Conference, especially what was the Gulf South Conference 5-6 years ago. I mean, it's still good, but they've lost some teams, and West Georgia's gone up to FCS, and of course North Alabama has, and but the quality of athletes is so much better than what people would think it would be. And when they come see them play, they realize it. But I've seen a lot of coaches jump into take jobs at at Division II schools and think they're just going to tear it up and don't have any idea how good teams are.
What kind of advice would you give Scott Cochran if he was asking, Coach? Because this is his first head coaching job.
Yeah. He hired something. Of course, I think he inherited the staff. I think the Brett's coaching staff from last year is still intact. I'm not positive about that, but and he'll have good people around him because that is a good staff, and but that's the main thing is just let your coaches coach, and it's really not different than doing it at any level. It's the head coach just needs to manage his staff and his players and let them all do their job.
Coach, in this day and time with the NIL and all that's come along with it, transfer portal, what are you most worried about as far as the student athletes and what the situation with those guys are now?
Well, I think the biggest thing that would be, football players, and this is also that that you've been told how good you are for a long time, all through junior high, high school. If you're playing at college level, then you were a great player in high school, and ever since you started playing. And a lot of them think they're going to be able to do things that they can't, that they're not capable of doing. And I just worry about a lot of them getting in the transfer portal and then getting left out. The ones that are, making millions of dollars and that, everybody wants, that's easy for them. But a lot of them are going in the transfer portal that think they're going to jump from one level to another, and they don't get the opportunity to do that. And so I see that create some real problems. I think chemistry has to be harder on a football team with transfers and people getting different things. Now, a lot of people don't realize this Division II, it wasn't NIL, but we had to deal with that situation. For instance, you had 36 what they call equivalencies instead of scholarships that you could break up. And then you had to stretch that to have 100 players on your team. Of course, you had Pell Grant, didn't count, and academic money and things like that. So there were other issues, other grants. But you'd have one player, you might have a player starting at, say, right tackle on tuition scholarship, and a younger guy behind him might be on full scholarship. And so, I mean, you had to deal, and, that's kind of what I think NIL is. I don't think everybody's getting the same amount of money. So, you have different players on the team getting something better than the other ones. And, that can create some issues.
So, Coach, what do you think would be the answer where that might help straighten this out a little bit?
Hell, I don't know if I have that answer. They've opened a can of worms, and there's no going back. And so, I mean, I don't know. I just don't have the answer for that.
Well, Coach, I don't know if we've dove into your relationship with Pat Dye, who was a good friend of this program. I know we've talked about it a little bit, but you went East Carolina, Wyoming, and Auburn there with Coach Dye. Tell me a little bit about that relationship and maybe how that helped you as a head coach later on, Coach.
Well, it was great. I loved working for Coach Dye. And when I was 22 years old, he hired me at East Carolina. I was a graduate assistant at Mississippi State. My defensive back coach at Mississippi State had come to start from Alabama. So he knew, so Coach Dye knew him, Bobby Fields. And he needed a secondary coach in the summer, and he, I guess, was calling around people he knew, and I got recommended. Coach Dye called me, and my interview was, they called and said, Bobby, you've been recommended as a young secondary coach. I'll pay you $12,000 a year. You do a good job, I'll give you a raise. You'll stay, and if you don't, I won't, and you'll leave. And that was my interview. But he did exactly what he said. I hope I did a good job. He took care of me and was very, he always believed in loyalty. He always told me the biggest thing he looked for in an assistant coach is loyalty. And but then he also proved that he was loyal to the coaches too, because we were at East Carolina back in the 70s, and it was we would have it was we played North Carolina State, Duke. You know, we played one or two of those a year, but mostly we were the Western Carolina and Appalachian State, William and Mary. So when we went from there to Wyoming, you know, it was kind of a jump up. And then, of course, he got the Auburn job, but I was only 26 by the time we go to Auburn. And,
wow.
You know, and so, I mean, he didn't have to hire a bunch of young coaches like he did. He didn't have to be loyal to us. He could have hired whoever he wanted. And at Auburn, and, you know, he was very loyal to us. I think we did you know, we had a good young staff, and you know, within 3 years, won the SEC championship and beat Michigan in the Sugar Bowl. But relationship with Coach Dye was as good as you could ever ask for. He was great to us as coaches, and I think we were all loyal to him. And you know, like when we were at East Carolina, you know, we played golf 3 times a week and things like that. Of course, you know, as you moved to bigger schools and got to Auburn, you know, his time wasn't.
Now, Coach, did you ever go to Pinehurst? Did you ever play at Pinehurst?
I got invited to go a few times, but I never went. I go to Augusta. Let's go from Augusta, but never. I mean, I went to spectate, but I never went and played.
Well, even going to spectate that, it's that's an event right there. And he would always talk. We would get Coach Dye on, and he'd be our Masters expert. And I'm telling you, you know, Coach, he was all about it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Did the loyalty that you mentioned, the loyalty of the assistants, how much did that rub off on you, Coach? I can hear it in your voice.
Well, I think a lot about you know, everything I learned. Basically, you know, it's funny. The state of Alabama's been good to me, and being at Auburn and being, you know, North Alabama and West Alabama, and but you know, when I was working for him at East Carolina and Wyoming, every spring he would get a private plane, and we would load up about 3 or 4 of us, and we would fly to different schools across the country and visit with them. And of course, we always went to Tuscaloosa. And Brother Oliver was was Coach Dye's good friend. My brother kind of took me under his wing and taught me a lot about coaching. And everything we did at East Carolina and Wyoming, and even when we got to Auburn, what Alabama had done under Bear Bryant. And so I really kind of learned my football from Alabama. And but then, of course, when we got to Auburn, that visiting with Alabama stopped.
Oh, man.
But anyway, so really my background kind of came from, you know, of course, Coach Dye was the only person he had worked for was Bear Bryant for 10 years. And so, it was, you know, it was a lot of, you know, Coach Bryant influence. And so I think all that helped me a lot, knowing what Coach Bryant did, what Coach Dye did, and it was so similar that, you know, the repetition of it, you know, kind of rubbed off on me. And I think I tried to do, you know, run the program about the same way, and it worked. And I think Larry Blakeney learned a lot from it. Jack Crow, Neil Calloway, you know, we were all on that staff at Auburn, and all of us, you know, ended up being at colleges in the state of Alabama.
I'm glad you went there, Coach, because Larry Blakeney making the College Football Hall of Fame. What did you think of? I know he's been on the ballot here for a number of years, and he's been on with us a couple of times, Coach. But what did you think of Coach Blakeney finally making the College Football Hall of Fame?
Larry is a fantastic coach, and you know, what he did at Troy, taking them from where, you know, the Division II program up to Division I, and the success they were having along the way. He was a great coach at Auburn. You know, he coached wide receivers, and I coached defensive backs. So we worked against each other a lot. And of course, we were really good friends and still are. And but I'm real happy for him, and it's well deserved.
I went down, and when Missouri came to Troy, I want to say that was 2003, Coach. The place was packed there at Movie Gallery Stadium, and you could tell he was beaming a little bit, and he had a lot to be proud of. But to see that place filled up in what was a big-time school heading to Troy, Alabama.
Right. And, I have to kind of mention while we're talking about it also, Johnny Williams had a lot to do with Troy's success too. Of course, we just passed away, and so sad about that. But they had a good operation. The President Hawkins, they had good people that that Larry had around him.
Well, with all of this money being infused for the players, I cannot help but wonder, what is this going to do for administratively? The part that you're talking about right there, Coach, of what is potentially going to happen in that part moving forward for college athletics, Coach?
I don't know. I think it's going to separate. I've always thought eventually that there was going to be about a 60-something team division made up of the power conferences and Notre Dame, and they would go off and just start playing kind of like the NFL, playing their own game, their own rules, and everybody else is going to fall down a little bit because we're not going to have the money games and all of that kind of thing. So and I still think that the direction it's headed. I might be totally wrong, but I think that's the direction it's headed. And I think what that's going to do is make a lower level Division I division of the Tulanes. I'm just using Tulane as an example, but those schools that are not in the major conferences, and I think they're going to struggle with NILs. They might be able to give a little bit of money, but it won't be anything to compete with the power conferences.
It is definitely a different world. There is no doubt about that, Coach. And
all that trickle down too. It'll trickle down to FCS, and it'll trickle down to Division II. Everybody will just kind of drop down a little bit, except for the power conferences.
And now we're dealing with Diego Pavia suing the NCAA and now getting an extra year of eligibility. And I just and the conferences, the power conferences, trying to get more power back. I don't know where to start with all of this, Coach, but it's a mess.
Well, I know there's a lot of smarter people than me working on it, and they still scratching their heads, I believe. So,
you've got a ton of experience, and that's. You know what you're talking about. You know what you've been an AD, you've been a head football coach, you've been a GA, a defensive back coach, and you've played at Mississippi State, so you've seen it on all levels, Coach.
Well, I have, it was. I said this. We had something at North Alabama last weekend that I went to, and I was telling them how fortunate a good Lord took care of me on bringing me to Florence, because I haven't coached as an assistant coach in Division I programs. I've coached in Illinois and in the Big Ten, and I think I was in 5 or 6 different conferences, and I didn't really know anything about Division II. And when I took that job, it was a real blessing. I had more fun coaching than I'd ever had in my life in North Alabama and West Alabama, and because you coach. When you're at Auburn or Alabama or where you're going to have to coach, but you're also more of a recruiter than you are a coach. So you got to have the athletes, and of course now I don't even know what recruit's like right now because of the NILs and stuff. I haven't been involved in it.
Well, Coach, I have a couple of sons in the business now, and they said that you recruit you recruit the recruits, and then you have to recruit your players every year and everybody else's players every year. So
so you can't hurt their feelings while you're coaching them, and that's pretty hard to do.
Yeah, I mean, how do you push somebody where they need to get to? You know, I mean, we were very special to have Jimmy Fuller and his 3 F's to football, which most of you can't say over the air.
Yeah, I
I
understand.
guess fat ass was one of the F's. You can say that one.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. But the other factor is also the playoffs as well, Coach, of getting your team ready for a playoff run. We just saw it there with Ohio State and Notre Dame making a playoff run. You won 3 straight national champions there at UNA. Getting a team ready for a playoff run, how is that different from be it an SEC coach and just worrying about a regular season than a bowl game? How different is that in the world of coaching, Coach?
Well, that was what it was all about at UNA, and even West Alabama was making the playoffs and getting in the playoff. Of course, you wanted to win the conference championship if you could along the way, but once you got in the playoff, and it's the way the NCAA does it now. It's different again in the Division I playoff, but we kind of played regional until the final. The semifinals, and then you played somebody outside of your region. So a lot of times you're playing the same teams that you played during the year, and you can't have a bad game. You got to be ready to play every week. So and that's happening during the recruiting, time of the year. So you're having to really kind of ignore recruiting sometimes. So not ignore it, but you can't. You can't spend as much time on it as you could if you're in the playoff.
Coach, it's fun to reminisce a little bit, but Scott Cochran in Livingston made me think about you, and I know it's something he's always wanted to do there, and it's
a great place to live. They got great people there. It's small, but you can get players there. We finally made the playoff when I was coaching there. I think it was my 3rd year, maybe my 4th.
Yes, sir. 3rd year. Yes, sir.
And since then, since 2009, they've had a lot of success. Went 9-2 this year.
Right.
And so it can be done as long as you have the right support and you work hard at it.
I can't thank you enough for hopping on. Always fun to talk some Pat Dye memories as well. How often would you go hunting with him, Coach?
Well, I'm not a hunter, so
okay.
I never have hunted. When I was growing up, I played football, basketball, ran track, baseball, and I didn't really have time to hunt.
Hunting, you have to wake up too early for that for me, Coach. I mean.
But well, just like I said, I just never had time. I was, during the deer season in the winter, I was, playing basketball tournaments and sports was what occupied my life.
Well, Coach, I can't thank you enough for your time, and it's a lot of wisdom there. And I hope that people are calling folks like you, because it's a very important time for us. I mean, college athletics is what we all love to see it cultivate for opportunities for these young men and women. And this is a trying time on every level, Coach.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. And in fact, I talked to a young coach the other day and said, I wish I was young like you again, but I'm not so sure I'd want to be in that profession.
Fair enough. Coach, I appreciate it. The time, sir.
All right. Thank you.
That is Bobby Wallace. Always fun. Yeah, he was at East Carolina, Wyoming, and Auburn there with Coach Dye, West. So if that loyalty part, boy, we know that for a fact from our past conversations with the late, great Pat Dye.
Yeah, and it goes both ways, and it always did with Coach Dye. And it's fun to see the success those guys had and basically running the same system Coach Bryant did. So, it works, no doubt.
And you got an up close and personal look at it there as well.
There's no question about that. And you know, they outwork people. That's what they did. They outworked people. They were very structured practices, very active practices. Didn't go that long. I mean, you know, they got a lot done in a short period of time. So it was, you know, and the way they did it. You know, he was in that tower, and they had 4 scrimmages going on, and you never knew if he was looking at you or not.
Awake or asleep, right?
Yeah, only asleep once. Yeah, that was awful. And who knows? He might not have been asleep. He might have been just acting like that. See how we react. You know, you just never know. He was a master, and that's what Coach Dye called him, the master.
Well, John Chavis, the chief, is going to join us at the top of the hour, but let's take our final time out. And by the way, I'm just going to yield to you for Coach Chavis because you know far more about the chief. I've only talked to him twice, and I know you know him quite well, so I'm looking forward to y'all's back and forth coming up at the top of the hour. Anyway, we got time to sneak in a call or two on the other side of our final timeout here of hour number 1. A scoreboard update. UAH leads it over Delta State 13-8 with 1:53 left to go in quarter number 1 here for the women's game. Let's take our final timeout, hour number 1. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Hey there, Bob Baumhauer again. Baumhauer's Victory Grill is extremely proud to have recently received numerous awards, including being voted best wings in the state of Alabama. Other awards received include Best All-Around Restaurant, Best American Restaurant, #1 Sports Bar, Best Chef, Best Wings, and Best Dining Experience. Thank you for 43 legendary years, and we look forward to providing you an award-winning dining experience at every visit. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list and maybe a little scary. But it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryrentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryrentals.com. Have you discovered Good Company Cafe? The place for breakfast, brunch, lunch, and so much more. Enjoy brunch all day and pair with one of our many seasonal refreshing drinks, including alcoholic and non-alcoholic options. Choose inside or outside on our gorgeous, spacious, dog-friendly patio and have some fun with friends playing yard games in the courtyard. See catering, to-go options, and lots more at goodcompany-cafe.com. Good Company Cafe, 7500 South Memorial Parkway.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. Scattered showers and thunderstorms going to be possible for this Thursday night. Otherwise, we'll sit under a mostly cloudy sky. Low temperatures falling into the low 50s for the overnight tonight. Heading into our Friday, we'll keep isolated showers mainly in the morning. Heading into the afternoon, we'll introduce a few thunderstorms. We'll see mostly cloudy sky there as well. High temperatures topping out in the low 60s for the afternoon. I'm Fox 54 meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This will turn journalism on its ear.
Watch our stream on WZZN TV on Twitch and YouTube.
But you are the greatest hero in American history.
We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
I am in the land of the Delta right here, and right next to Walter Sillars Coliseum is the Grammy Museum. So, yeah, I went over there, and believe it or not, I was listening to a little bit of James Brown over in the building, which is maybe about, I don't know, maybe not 50 yards from here. It's very close here to the Coliseum. Very well done. You'd never think that the Grammy Museum is right here in Cleveland, Mississippi, but well worth your time. You know what's also worth your time, Wes? Heading over to our website. Heading over to our website, 977ESPN.com, clicking on the big zone deals. I noticed Tom Abraham was at the Hickory Store barbecue, and that looked pretty darn good. Saw some stuff there on our YouTube channel. You can still get half price for Hickory Store barbecue, 25 for 50. Likewise for Good Company Cafe, Bigfoot Little Donuts, Apple Lane Farms, the Decatur location. Full Moon Barbecue, we're going to be front and center there on Monday. Grab $50 of Full Moon for just $25. Likewise for Bubby's Diner, Corlejos, Mexican Grill, Bad Daddy's Burger Bar. I mean, the deals, your Super Bowl party can be catered for half off.
Half price.
Yeah, half price.
Half price. Can't
What
beat
a
it.
conversation
Great
from
places too. And you help support the radio station and its sponsors. It's a win-win-win for everyone.
Or if you want to carb up, you go to Carrabba's Italian Grill or Sea Salt, or there's also Lawler's Barbecue, although a limited quantity there of Lawler's Barbecue. Head over to our website and enjoy some eats on us. Bryce is on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. How are you, Bryce?
Good. Thanks for taking my calls, guys. Wes, you knew UNA was building a new stadium, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. From what I've heard, they're going to name the field Bobby Wallace Field.
That's what they ought to do. He won 3 national championships in a row.
He won 4 altogether, didn't he?
Yeah, it's hard to do. And he was a great football coach, no doubt. Won it. Everywhere he went, they won.
Yeah. You know, he got a bad rap at Temple. I thought he did it, what he got into. I thought he did as well as anybody could, you know, what he got into. But,
no doubt. It's hard to win there for sure.
Wes, I was talking to one of my Red Elephant Club buddies over the weekend, and guess who the Auburn will go after if Fuse fails? If Fuse fails, I can't even talk. Guess who they got their sights set on, and they're delusional down there. You well know that.
Now say that again, Bryce. Who they had the sights on, and what now?
If Hugh Freeze fails and doesn't get it done next year, they got their sights set on one guy, and they're delusional down there to think that they can get this guy.
Well, I have.
I'll tell you.
I'll guess Shane Beamer.
No.
Kirby Smart.
No, that's good. They think they can get Sartesian down there. He won't go down there. Texas to back up the truck for him, and he's got limited resources there. Why would he want to go to Auburn?
Well, he's not going to leave Texas to go to Auburn. That's no doubt about that.
I can tell you that. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that
Auburn's a great place.
I think it is too. But they don't have the money Texas has.
Texas compared to the resources at Auburn. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I think there's more money at Texas. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, I mean, they're spending more money. Heck, those guys they get in a NIL and a Lamborghini. I mean, there's Lamborghinis all the parking lot at Texas. I mean, it's hard to compete with that, really.
Right. They did just outbid us on one. That guy in Alabama. What was that guy's name? They just outbid us on that they just signed.
Oh, I'm
yesterday. Back and forth. The guy
What's
that was
surprising to me though, Bryce,
and Auburn like 3 different times on both sides.
Yeah.
You know, there's only one guy how many people over the last 5-6 years have gone to Texas from Tuscaloosa? I'd say it's 8 or 10, but only one of them's done any good in my mind. That's been consistent, and a lot of the guys that left that were doing good at Alabama didn't do good at Texas. Yeah, Bond's the only one I know that's played consistently. And he dropped a huge pass in the Ohio State.
He did.
Huge.
Yes, he did.
Wide open. Yeah.
Bryce, we are right up against it. I appreciate the phone call, and we've got a big interview on the other side. Looking forward to talking a little defensive strategy with a former walk-on at the University of Tennessee. That is John Chavis. The Chief joins us right after this top of the hour break. Scoreboard update for you. The Chargers, despite all the bellowing behind me, lead at 19-13. And the second quarter was, now I'm getting some looks, 7:07 and counting, left to go before halftime. Go Chargers. We'll be right back.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold-certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Football season and Bad Daddy's Burger Bar. The perfect combination of good times and great food. This season, score big with one of our chef-inspired expressions of pure burger amazingness. Our delicious burgers are made with premium Angus beef, and you can pair it with one of our signature cocktails or a cold craft beer from our huge selection. Bad Daddy's Burger Bar on the Parkway in Huntsville and our new location at Cliff Farm, Highway 72 in Madison.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Is Sports Center.
I'm DeLuca. The NBA trade deadline come and gone. Big move today. The top team in the East adding some help. The Cavs acquiring DeAndre Hunter from the Hawks for Karis LeVert, Georges Niang, 3 second-round picks, and 2 swaps. Hunter having a career year, averaging 19 points per game to lead the league in bench scoring. He's in the second year of a 4-year, $90 million deal. LeVert set to be a free agent at season's end. Elsewhere, the Nets are working toward a buyout agreement with Ben Simmons, former All-NBA forward, has spent 3 seasons with the Nets since coming over in the James Harden trade. Has dealt with a number of injuries and has played more than 40 games just once in Brooklyn. He's averaging 6 points, 5 rebounds, and 7 assists per game this season in the final year of the max contract he signed in Philly. In college hoops, Indiana head coach Mike Woodson not expected to return to the school next season, but will coach the remainder of the year. Hoosiers are heading toward their second consecutive season without reaching the NCAA tournament, losing 4 straight games in 6 of their last 7. Indiana had one of the largest NIL budgets in the Big Ten and in the country this season. In baseball, Shohei Ohtani's former interpreter, Ippei Mizuhara, was sentenced to nearly 5 years in prison for stealing $17 million from Ohtani to repay gambling debts. The Dodgers fired Mizuhara in March after he sent millions in wire transfers from Ohtani's account to an illegal bookmaker, pleaded guilty to bank fraud in June.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy, coming up Friday. I'll tell you what I'll need to see from Jalen Hurts and the Eagles if they want to end the Chiefs' dominance. It's on Sportsman 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
'97.7 ESPN The Zone. Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll. And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
Another scoreboard update for you as the UAH Chargers lead it here at Delta State 23-16. 4:19 left to go before halftime. We'll have coverage of the men coming up. Wes Neighbors, Steve Moulton here with you. And, boy, I'm excited for this next conversation. When you think defensive minds, as Wes would say, it doesn't take long to call roll for the name John Chavis, the Chief, to pop up on that list, and he is kind enough to join us. Coach, how are you this evening?
Great, doing great.
Well, what are you up to these days now, Coach?
Well, right now I'm just kind of, waiting around. If there's an opportunity, good opportunity, then I think I'll get back in it. If not, I'm gonna be retired and I'm gonna enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely, Coach. And you deserve it, no doubt.
Well, thank you.
So, Coach, what you did it for so long. You look at the game now, and what all's going on with NIL, the transfer portal. How do you kind of reset this? What would do you have any suggestions to kind of fix the current system? Not to not pay the players, but make it more, I guess, tenable for everybody.
Well, I knew when they started doing this that I didn't think it was going to be good for college football. I really didn't. When you start paying players and that becomes more important to them than playing the game, I feel like if you're in college football, you ought to be devoting yourself towards, creating an opportunity to get a great degree. And if you can make it to the NFL, then that makes it good. If not, you've done what you need to do, and I just, that's the way I look at it. And, it's a different deal. And it's, you make management, a lot harder for the folks that are coaching the game. Not that they can't do it; they can do it, but it's difficult, because guys, come in and they're going to play with players that are making a lot of money. Some of them's getting none. It's not a way to do that, but it's it's what they dealing with, and so you gotta get it done anyway.
Well, Coach, your first stop was up on the Hill, Alabama A&M, after being a GA there at Tennessee, from what I'm reading in front of me. What was that experience like? I know 2 different times for you, but that initial from 80 to 83 up on the Hill, what was that like being a on-the-field coach coming off being a GA for you?
Well, it was good. It was good. I got to go in there and start out as a coordinator. And being able to work with Ray Green, who we lost a couple of years ago, he was a special man. And obviously Woodrow McCorvey was on that same staff, and it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it tremendously. It prepared me for other things that I'd face, and but it was a great experience. And to be able to do that, I spent 10 years between Alabama A&M and a couple of years at Alabama State before Coach Majors brought me back to Tennessee to coach there.
You have a go-to Ray Green story? We miss him dearly, Coach.
Yeah, great man, and taught me and a lot of things that helped me, and there's no doubt in my mind, being there with Ray and Woodrow, it was great for me, and they taught me how to coach college football.
Wow. And setting you up for that SEC run, Tennessee, LSU, A&M, Arkansas. I don't even know where to begin, Coach, of how has defense evolved through the decades for you, Coach, or has it?
Well, I really don't know. It'd be hard to comment on that, because you get a job, and if you're working with the right people, they're going to help you grow, and because they brought you there to help win, and that's what it's been like everywhere I've been.
Well, Coach, I will tell you this: you gave a young man from Huntsville, Alabama, that not many people believed in, a chance to play when you were at LSU, and he's a strength coach now, and I'll never forget the chance you gave him.
Well, that's what you want to do. You want to help young men grow, and I got into when I say got into it was the best situation I could have had. Going in as a defensive coordinator in a program that was in Division II football. It was really a good program, and those kind of things happen. But it was, like I said, it made a big difference. There's no doubt in my mind it made a big difference in preparing me to be able to coach anywhere.
You mentioned Johnny Majors, and we were fortunate to have Coach Majors on before his passing a couple of times. And he would always comment to us here in Huntsville, Coach, that the Tennessee River travels through the state of Alabama, Coach.
Yeah, obviously I got a chance to, even playing 2 years under Coach Battle and 2 years under, Coach Majors, I had a chance to play for some very good coaches.
Defense, what was your best defense in terms of guys executing what you wanted on the field? Do you have a defense in mind that executed it better than any other?
Well, I'd have to say this: we had some great defenses at Tennessee. Matter of fact, the year that they let us go, we had the number 3 defense in the nation and number 1 defense in the SEC. And when they let us go at Tennessee, my phone rang off the hook, and that's when I went to LSU. And certainly, the one team that I would tell you, even though we came up short in the championship game, that group of young men were as good as I've coached.
Yeah, and Coach, talk a little bit, and I tell people this, and I stand corrected because I said he was pound for pound maybe the best player in the SEC, and one person said, well, what about Herschel? Yeah, maybe Herschel, and then Bo Jackson. But other than that, the Honey Badger, who you named the Honey Badger, is probably the best pound for pound player that I'd ever seen. And if you look at his highlight for him, he played 2 years at LSU, his freshman and sophomore year, he was unbelievable and just fun to watch.
Yeah, and it's about making good decisions, but he was absolutely as good a football player as I've ever been around, and he was part of that 6-year deal at LSU, and course, there was a lot of other guys too, and but as coaches, you got to help mold them and help them get to where they want to be. But certainly, the Honey Badger was fun to be around. He was a playmaker. He made plays that other players couldn't make.
It felt like the wealth of talent there in the state of Louisiana. Certainly heard about it quite a bit from Coach Saban. It not only been his time at LSU, but his time at Alabama. But was recruiting a touch easier at LSU than even at Tennessee?
Well, it's I'd hate to rate it, because there's good recruiting everywhere, and recruiting, the biggest thing about recruiting is you got to create relationships. You got to have trust, not only in the players that you recruit, but also the families that they come from. And, those things are what makes great football teams, when you can go out and recruit character and talent at the same time. And a lot of people, we do a lot of talking about talent, and certainly that's the first thing you think about. But also, you got to have the right people with the right talent.
Talking to Coach John Chavis right now. And, Coach, you mentioned about that last year, and I remember vividly kind of half-empty stadiums, and we all saw the writing on the wall there for Philip Fulmer's last year at Tennessee. What was that like to experience from a coach's standpoint?
Well, it makes you realize that, hey, you're part of a group, and everybody's in that group, and there's people that are making decisions and those kind of things. But 2 years prior to that, we lost our AD, and obviously Doug Dickey was one of the best ADs that's been in the game that I've been around, and certainly you got to have that kind of support. And Dr. Joe Johnson was the president. And listen, the only thing they said, was do it right. And as long as you do it right, we're going to continue to grow. And they wanted to have a program that was full of class and doing it the right way. And, it made a big difference.
I mean, at least from my standpoint, I always look at that standpoint of what happened, of kind of be careful what you wish for, because other than this past year, making a playoff run, it has taken the Vols a while to get back where you guys had it, Coach.
Well, like I said, I think they finally got the administration is very important, but I think they got the support they need, the coaching there, and I think they did a great job with the coach that they brought in, and you got to have all those things in place. And it's kind of fun to watch them, step back and be competitive anywhere in the country.
Hey, Coach, in your mind, through the decades, what decade was the funnest for you? Was it as a player, a coach? And when you look at today's football, to me, it just doesn't seem the same sometimes as it once did.
Well, I always looked at it like this, if you're going to take a job and you're going to be part of it, you got to help, those things grow. And certainly, we did that. We did that at Tennessee. And when that broke down there, I had a chance to go to another great program at LSU, who's won a bunch of championships, and Les Miles, wow, what a great guy, great coach. And certainly, the recruiting was you didn't have to go as far because there was so much talent around you in high school.
All right, Coach. A little birdie tells me that, and that birdie, by the way, is Wes Neighbors, that you roomed with Kevin Steele. And give me a story that you haven't told on Kevin Steele before, Coach.
Well, you know what? We roomed together for a while. We played high school football together.
Wow.
In Dillon, South Carolina. and I walked on at Tennessee, and he signed with another school, with not a SEC school, and then in 2 years he transferred to Tennessee, and we had a great time. Kevin, his dad was our high school principal, so we were close, and we still are. He's good people.
So how similar were y'all's defenses to each other, Coach?
Well, I don't know. When I say I don't know, because when we got separated, I was doing what I've always done, and I'll be honest with you. We talked about certain things. If we were having issues, what do you do to get it fixed and those kind of things. So we had conversations and did that, and it was fun, you've got to do what you do, and obviously he went into several places before he got to Alabama with Coach Saban, and that changed because he was running Coach Saban's defense.
And
So what would be the biggest defensive coach difference between maybe your defenses that you ran and Coach Saban's defenses? What did Coach Saban try to do different than everybody else?
Well, he was, he had an answer, and when I say had an answer, he knew football as well as anybody. From playing against him, it was as tough as it could be, and he was going to do what he needed to do to make sure that his defense was better than the offense that he was playing against.
You mentioned about coming out of the same place, the same high school, and I mean, looking it up, that this is not Columbia or Clemson or Myrtle Beach. This is Dillon, and when you're talking about the history of the SEC, Coach, you can't mention it without your name or Kevin Steele. That's pretty cool, Coach. Little town there in South Carolina.
Yeah. Well, we played, and I knew that I was not good enough to play, after college football, and but we knew, and we talked about it, and one of the reasons that I got in coaching, because there were some coaches that made a difference in my career, and that's what I wanted to do with young people, and we talk about coaching, and we talk about the things that we do on the field, and all those things are important, but it better not just be there. You got to have those relationships, and the young men have to trust in you, and certainly if they do, they'll play to the end. And I think that was the biggest part of my success, is understanding that the kids aren't there for me, I'm there for them, and I hope that I made an impact, and that's what I wanted to do, and help them grow and achieve some of their goals.
Well, Coach, give me a scouting report on you as a nose tackle. Break it down for me, Coach.
Well, I was a linebacker for a period of time, and I wanted to play. I wanted to get on the field. It didn't matter, and I did get to play a period of time as a linebacker, but they needed a little more, I shouldn't say a little more speed, but, they needed a guy up front that could, maybe make a little bit of difference. And, when they put me there, it didn't matter. I'm going to go play. I'm going to take coaching, and, certainly it helped us.
Well, I started out as a linebacker, so you two can swap some stories there on being linebackers.
So, Coach, what position did Kevin Steele play?
He was an outside defensive end.
An edge player. All right. A difference maker? Would you say a difference maker there, Coach?
Well, he's a friend. You didn't get to play as much,
Yes, sir.
But yeah, it was a difference being able to be on the same team again.
So the way you first started this interview, you want to get back in for the right opportunity. How much has your phone been ringing, Coach?
Well, not as much as I'd like. But when you get to the age that I am now, and I don't think age is a factor. I know more now than I did then. It's just a matter of knowing who and getting that opportunity and making that decision that this is a good spot where I can grow again. You just have to be ready for that to happen. And if it does, it does. If it doesn't, hey, I can't complain. And when I say that I had a good career, for me, it was a great career, more than anybody ever expected out of me. And I had a great time. And if you could go back and change anything, I wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah,
that says a lot.
Yeah,
That says a lot.
I mean, every stop and your most recent stop with the Stallions, what was that experience like for you, Coach?
It was good. We in the 3 years that I was there, and actually 2.5, because I had a little bit of illness that took me away from the last 4 games last year. But the Stallions won 3 in a row. Obviously, the two, I had a big part in that, and I had a big part in the other one, because when I decided to walk away from it, we had the strongest defense in the league. There wasn't anything else close to it.
I can hear the desire there for you, Coach. I also hear the love of Tennessee as well in your voice. So the third Saturday in October, what does it mean to you, Coach?
Well, it was always big. The Tennessee and Alabama game were, when I was obviously playing at that time, or even coaching early there. That was a game that everybody in the country was going to talk about.
Is there one that stands out to you?
One particular game?
Yes, sir.
Or not really. And I may think about it later on and say, this one did, or but every game was important, and certainly, you want to have your team prepared, and obviously, in the SEC, if you're not prepared, you're going to look bad. You're going to look really bad. And there wasn't many times that we were not prepared. That didn't mean we won them all, but we certainly made a show.
Coach, I would have to say the 9-6 game that was that year, the game of the century, would have been, because the way your players played,
he's going there,
and the plays they made, from the interception by the guy that played at San Francisco, Reed, on he made an incredible play that should have been a touchdown, and just how the Honey Badger and everybody played in that game was unbelievable.
Well, that was the 2011 game, and when you break it down, when I break it down, that may have been the best team I've ever coached, talent wise, and certainly, we didn't finish it in the championship game, and that's been one of the biggest disappointments that I've ever had. But when I say a disappointment, our guys played as hard as they could. And it was, it was only, and this was in that year, the one that you're talking about in Birmingham, and then you got to realize this. In those 2 games, there was only 1 touchdown scored, and that was late in the game after Alabama in the championship game, after the game was really over in the last 3 or 4 minutes. I got a couple guys that in the game that deserve to be there. And we let a play get away from us, and obviously, that wasn't what won the game. They won the game because they outplayed us.
Finally, Coach, your reaction to the expansion of the college football playoff. What did you think of the first go-around, ultimately with Ohio State winning? What did you think of the expanded playoffs, Coach?
Well, I don't fully understand how they decide who's going to play who, and how they determine that, and everything. It's it's a little bit different, and where you going to play, and those kind of things. Those become small factors, but not big factors. The game it's not won or lost where you're playing; it's how you play, and certainly. I think as it goes along, I think they'll continue to make it even better. But it's made more people. Excuse me. It's made more people want to follow college football, and you can't just follow your league. It's a national thing now. So you never know who you're going to play, who you're going to have to be prepared to play in playoff games, and so we'll see. We'll learn more about it as it goes.
Yeah, why your phone's not ringing off the hook is beyond me, Coach. So,
I appreciate you. I appreciate you saying that. I really do. But one of the things that I'm going to say, that's very important to me. I was able to do all the things and be in those places because God made it work. And if He wants me back in the league, He's not going to call me, but He'll get somebody else to call me.
Coach, I can't thank you enough for your candor and your availability, and would love to have you back on to talk some more football with you, Coach.
Well, you're welcome to it. I don't mind at all.
Thank you, Coach. Have a good evening, and thank you so much again, sir.
Thank you, and you guys take care.
That is the Chief, John Chavis. I didn't even ask him where the do you know how the nickname came about for the Chief?
I don't. We should have asked him.
Well, that'll just give me an excuse to reach out to the Chief one more time. But it was awesome to hear about Ray Green too, and I miss me some Ray Green, as all of us do in North Alabama. That was, and he's experienced, that Magic City Classic on both sides of it with Alabama State and Alabama A&M included. But how about his best defense was the last one, and I remember half empty stadiums there up in Knoxville because it was almost a funeral type atmosphere because we all knew what was going to happen at the end of the 2008 season there for the Vols, Wes.
Obviously it was more offensive problems than anything because they didn't win many games. So, when the offense is really bad, the other offenses don't try as hard because the only way they can lose the game is to turn the ball over, and so that'll help your stats as well. But the Chiefs is, to me, had an unbelievable run in the Southeastern Conference, and when you played his defenses, they played to the whistle and they played to all four quarters, and they played hard. And there are a lot of them still out there playing all over the NFL still. 10 years after he left, so
it's crazy.
There's a lot.
Yeah, I liked him breaking down himself, and I didn't know he was a linebacker. I just listed him as a nose tackle, which is that be a nose backer? Is that what that's called? A nose backer?
Yeah, I think I recognize that position.
I thought you might.
Yeah, I was a nose backer. There's no doubt I was a nose backer.
Wheeler Mike, hang out with us because we need to take our first time out, but I promise we'll get right to you on the other side. 256-5764-97.7, the telephone number. That was awesome. from the Chiefs.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, proudly saying Roll Tide and War Eagle. Stop into University Kia today and shop one of the area's largest selection of new Kias, including Fortes, Seltos, Telluride, and Popular Carnival, and fully electric EV6. View all the great specials at universitykia.com and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia you really want, because we want to see you in a University Kia.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, if you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself.
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com. Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
This is Steve Moulton for Lee's Magic Tunnel. Do you live out of your car? Does your car look like you've been well lived in? Then take your vehicle to Lee's Magic Tunnel, located on the Parkway. Any size of the vehicle, it doesn't matter. Lee's will get it clean. Offering many types of washes, but getting it clean inside and out. Ask for the manager special. That's at Lee's Magic Tunnel, located on the Parkway, and located online at leesmagictunnel.com for more information.
You know, this process is all about talking ball.
Listen to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond.
What did they want privacy for? To just start talking ball.
Every weekday morning, wake up with Scott and Drew. It's Talkin' Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
When I pulled out of Pittsburgh, rolling down that eastern seaboard.
Scoreboard update for you. 4:59 left to go, quarter number 3. UH Chargers lead it by 7, 37-30 over Delta State. We'll have coverage of the men coming up, as the men, by the way, looking for a school record. A win here tonight would be a school record 21 in a row for the men. Quite a run here for first-year head coach Mick Hedgespeth and the UAH Chargers. We've had a fairly busy evening with Bobby Wallace and John Chavis. And Coach Chavis already texted me, Wes, really enjoyed the time. As I've been trying to keep myself muted as much as possible with the world's most annoying band in the back. That's
aptly named.
Yeah.
Aptly named.
Steeler Mike, help me out. Help me out, Steeler Mike. How are you this evening, sir?
Doing great, man. That was such a awesome me being out and running around tonight here and get to Coach Chavis talk. And I was fortunate enough to play on a really, really high school team that had two guys that signed with Tennessee. And so a lot of times I would take them over to Tennessee and, just kind of tag along. I was a decent high school football player, but not near SEC level. But I would go over there and take them and hang out a little bit. And, Coach Chavis and Coach Cutcliffe was the offensive coordinator at the time. Both of them knew my name, always spoke to me. Never were so worried about the recruits that were over there to not just shake my hand because I was kind of a local kid. But beyond both of their coaching ability, just two great guys I've gotten to meet. I haven't seen them in years, but just tremendous guy, gentlemen and football coaches. Thanks for the show, guys. I love you guys. You do a great job. Wes, have we had any Connorisms yet?
No, he's not here yet, but he'll be here tomorrow. But we shall get a bunch. So, but I've been chasing the future Connor around, and he's a mess.
Bonesaw Jr.
Yes, he's a mess. But yeah, it's there's the good thing about Connor is you never know what's going to be next.
That's right.
What he's going to say next. So you're always just waiting. Yeah. The last thing, guys, I hope that you were able, and I'm sure you do, is to record that interview with Coach Chavis, especially when he talked about Tennessee. Because Phil Jr., my boy Drew DeArmond, would love to listen to that.
There's no doubt.
Guys, get him a copy of that. Or anytime Fulmer speaks, just record it for him. But guys, I'll hang up and listen and have a blessed day and talk to you on the flip side.
All of our shows are recorded. Some
I
better
recorded
than
that
others.
one in two places.
Some are better than others. There's no doubt about that.
Okay, so y'all brought up something here. While we're waiting for phone calls. Got three lines open, guys. 256-576-4977.
This is the final call for phone calls, by the way.
Yes, it is. Why do you call Connor Bonesaw? I'm still after a year and a half here, I'm still catching up.
Okay, so that was his name.
Can you say that story on the radio?
So there's some character.
Remember, we don't have our dump button hooked up yet.
Yeah, so there's a character on some movie that was Bonesaw that was just like Undestructible or whatever, and his teammate him that at LSU. So I we'll have to ask Connor that because he's told me a couple times. But even the people in Louisiana, they all call him Bonesaw. The people at Louisiana Lafayette, the people at
So I was
they all call him Bonesaw.
Me, Wes, is it's in the Spider-Man movie that Randy Macho Man Savage was in, whatever Spider-Man movie that was, his character name was Bonesaw. And that's the movie that Wes is referencing. It's that Spider-Man movie with Tobey
Maguire?
Maguire, thank you. I knew it was
I've never seen
I got names that come to my head.
Yeah, I've never seen it, but that's where they named
it. Oh, wait, at least watch that part of it because that's kind of where the character of Spider-Man finds out he's got some pretty good powers, but it's in a wrestling ring with a cage on it, and you got Randy Savage, Bonesaw. That's his character, and that is kind of what fueled that nickname for Connor there. But
are you going to invite Connor on tomorrow while we're here?
Oh, please.
Okay.
I don't know if he'll be here by then. But we'll have him on soon.
Don't call Connor now.
I got the other one I couldn't drag on for nothing. He's here, so
okay.
Yeah.
Well, you got room. I know you got room.
Yeah.
So, but
I mean, don't leave me here all by myself on Friday, guys. Come on.
bare minimum,
It's just
I'm
me,
going to
it's
be
just
on
me and
here.
Robert over here. He's over here wiring the other station.
There
And
you
we're
go.
here. We got the whole place to ourselves.
Well, Delta State has just drawn within 2 points of the Chargers with 2:11 left to go. That's the noise behind me right now. This is final call for phone calls as we're walking up to UH Charger men's basketball. By the way, we will have coverage of both the men and women. That's a nice answer right there by Bella White, so everybody will shut up now. 40-36. At least temporarily. We'll have coverage of both the men and women from Mississippi College coming up on Saturday. But both the men's and women's programs are doing awfully well. The Charger men are 15-0 in GSE play. The Charger women are 12-3 and in second place in the GSC. So very successful first years for both head coaches for the UAH Chargers. 256-576-4977, the telephone number. And that was really cool to dive into. And really, the way I heard there from Coach Chavis, maybe not a lot has changed strategy-wise. It's just execution of the players on the field, of bigger, stronger, faster players more than anything. That's what I heard. How about you, Wes?
Well, in the end, it's all about players making plays. You kind of heard him talking about that. That's what it's about. That part of it will never change. The instincts of the honey badger made him what are great. You look at the instincts of Caleb Downs. That's what makes him great. They go 100 miles an hour. Your eyes are the most important thing in football. They take you to the play. They take you everywhere. Knowing the reads and be able to react without any hesitation are the great ones are able to do and make it look like they were born to do it. So that's what I think and so the key is to put players in positions to make plays, and that's what that's how the great ones do. That's the guys that are successful and seem to be successful everywhere they go. That's what they're a master at. That's what they're able to motivate you to do it, make it where you don't want to never want to disappoint anybody on your team, but yet have the instincts, the football instincts to be great, and the combination of all that are what make great teams. And it doesn't happen by accident, and that's why the same people usually win everywhere they go.
Yeah, well, and that's why I'm serious. Why his phone's not ringing off the hook?
Well, he's mentioned that he missed the last 4 games last year and had some and I didn't want to dwell in that, but maybe that's why it is. And when you get out of it, sometimes it takes you a minute to get back in it, and but they'll always come back to find you. That's what we could ask Coach Glanville about that. We could ask Pete Carroll about that, right? If you're really good at what you do, there are not many that have the mind, the drive, and the knowledge that it takes to be a head coach. And it's a hard job. It's a lot to it, a lot more than anybody would ever dream. And it takes a lot of training to get there. So, yeah. And it helps if you have a guy you can lean on. Like what would Dabo Sweeney had been successful if he didn't have the probably the best GM ever in Woody at McCorvey. I mean, think about it. We talked about Woody, who was at A&M with Coach Chavis, and he's the godfather of football. Really, he knows everyone. And would Dabo Sweeney be successful? It's hard to think he wouldn't. But he's making all this money, right? But my understanding, he gives a lot back. There are a lot of the people on staff at Clemson he's paying. The university isn't, he is. So it seems like good things happen to good people that work hard, and that's what I think is when I talk to my children or to my family or friends, that's what I tell all the young people. good things happen to people who work hard. And that's the secret sauce. And there you go. It's not that hard.
As you can probably tell, a little late run there for Delta State at the end of the third quarter, tied at 40 heading into the fourth quarter here on the women's side. FanDuel just updated their SEC odds. This is just to win the SEC. And here it is. Texas is your odds-on favorite to win the SEC at a plus 210.
I think I said that yesterday, didn't I? Or was it the day before? That they'd be favored. Go ahead.
Yeah. Georgia is second at a plus 390. And yes, you did say that. That was 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Then third, it's a tie. Tied for third at a plus 700 is the third Saturday in October. Alabama and Tennessee have the same odds at a plus 700. That's followed by LSU at a plus 1,000. Ole Miss also at a plus 1,000. Texas A&M at a plus 1,600. The Gamecocks at a plus 1,800. Then further down, Florida at a plus 3,300. Auburn is at a plus 3,500. The longest odds, that goes to Mississippi State at a plus 50,000. So,
yeah. I mean, you think about it, they lost with that quarterback, they had a chance.
And then he's gone.
He played well. Now he's at LSU, and he's going to be behind the guy, which is kind of interesting. That's kind of an interesting. And so you got to tag that out. It has to be NIL. They just offered him so much money. He's not worried about playing next year.
Yep. All right, I said final call for phone calls. Joe has called in. Joe, finish strong for us right now.
Well, a couple things. Y'all got an update pick on the Super Bowl? I know. See, the ticket prices are down over $2,000. What do y'all think?
I think the better team are the Eagles, but if it's a one-possession game late, it is really hard to pick against a team that has won so many close games this season and the Chiefs.
I'm an Eagles. I think the Eagles are going to win the game. I think Vegas is begging you to bet on Kansas City. I think the Eagles are going to win. And Joe, if the prices are down, New Orleans is not that bad of a drive.
No.
I was actually there last weekend, and they cleaned the city up. I was impressed with what they've done. It might be a chance of a lifetime to go to the Super Bowl.
Well, I did get
point spread is still 1 point, by the way. Chiefs
and a very good game against two good teams that I think are somewhat evenly matched.
I did get an invitation today to go down and help Cook Barbecue to raise funds for a good fundraiser, but
you can't beat that.
Well, that's true too. It's called Operation Barbecue. They go out for disaster relief and cook barbecue and whatever they can get their hands on for first responders and whoever, just to help the community.
Nice.
It's a really good operation. The last thing, and I'll get off here, Wes, I saw a post today on Facebook that your dad's birthday was this week.
It was yesterday. Was 2 days ago, February 4th. He'd be 85 years old. We miss him greatly. And my best friend growing up was a guy named David Vest. His birthday was yesterday. Shout out to him. And it was February is a great month for birthdays, right, Steve?
That's where all the cool kids were born. February. No doubt about that.
Yeah, right. Okay. All right, guys. That's all I got. I appreciate all you do.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Joe.
The charity that Joe mentioned, Operation Barbecue Relief, operationbbqrelief.org. They're serving right now in California and several other places, and you've got a place to donate there and volunteer and sign up. So, operationbbqrelief.org.
Yeah, if anybody ever wrote a book about me, that's what it should say.
Operation Barbecue.
Operation Barbecue.
Well, we got a bunch of good people who stop every year at the Shade Tree guys.
Well, but you can also head over to our website and save half off of some barbecue and a big
right.
Lawler's barbecue.
What other radio station?
Yeah.
Doubles your money.
Well, wait, Lawler's barbecue, Full Moon barbecue, and then Hickory Store barbecue. I'm thinking we may need a barbecue off between those three.
Yeah, well, I haven't tried Hickory. That's gonna be my first stop next week.
Hickory Store barbecue.
That's on the way to my in-laws' house. They may be getting that for this weekend.
That is a half off deal. So is Full Moon. We'll be there Monday, and then Lawler's barbecue as well. Lawler's barbecue. What do you want me to say? But I do need to try some. Yeah, I do need to try some Hickory Store barbecue just for
what Tom had looked really good.
Oh, I have no doubt about that. That plate was probably rather full, and it's long gone by now. All right, that is going to wrap up the drive here. Coming up on the other side, SEC basketball report will lead into UAH Charger basketball. Boy, this is a tie game between the Chargers and Delta State on the women's side with 7 minutes to go. Wes, this may be a long evening for yours truly if this game goes into multiple overtimes, because this is a very close game as the Chargers just took the lead there from Haley Nichols on a little layup. So it's now 46-44. We'll talk to you tomorrow right here on The Drive.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Our customers trust us not only to find the right hardware, but to advise them on the technology that makes them more efficient.
My Next Level team researches and discovers real solutions. Check-in software, HR, digital signature, and workflow software. It saves you money immediately. We hold your hand and stay with you through the transition.
We're taking our customers to the next level in business process automation.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect